Good evening and welcome to a brand new episode. I am Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar, though today the guest I have with me prefers to call me Sid, as many people do. And I'll tell you what, he is someone, I know it's a cliche to say he needs no introduction, but really the work that he does has a legion of fans all the way from Hollywood to Bollywood, from New York to New Delhi. And so, when you think about what this company, this brand, and then this individual has been responsible for over the last few years, well, you'll understand what I am trying to get at. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest on Freewheeling today, and it is Professor Gerry McGovern OBE. Great to see you. Good evening, or good morning to you, Gerry.
Hello, Sid. Nice to see you.
It's
no so well.
As are you, and
I'm warrior-like.
like
the hair.
Yeah, it's nicely slicked back today. It's behaving itself today, let me say.
Yeah.
I had to work at it. No, but it's great to see you.
If your hair, goes in more, it makes you look bigger. Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
Your head's slimmer, it makes your shoulders look bigger.
Good. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that. Proportion is the name of the game, isn't it? I mean, there's so much that we have always discussed, I know, with you when it comes to, of course, the work that you do. Today, I think it's the first time that we are, discussing all of this in a very different setting. It is the circumstance that's led us to this online live discussion. So, firstly, thanks for your time. I know you're at home, and so I appreciate it. The last time we met was at the Los Angeles Auto Show, where you were bringing the Defender to the US market for the first time. And shortly before that, I'd had the chance to see the car in the UK. I have to start by asking you first about the Defender. I mean, it is really what everybody is still talking about. I get it. The rollout could have been smoother if we didn't have this ongoing crisis right now. But still, your thoughts on this car, and just over the last few months, the kind of massive reaction it's got from the world over.
Well, first of all, I personally couldn't have wished for a better introduction for the car in terms of the reaction to it. First of all, when we showed it for the first time, the response was incredibly positive, overwhelmingly so, and the sort of data and the analysis that we've done on it proves that it's not just a perception, it's the reality. And without going into the detail of the actual numbers, the order banks have exceeded, expectations. And then also, it was great to see that even some of the traditionalists have warmed to the vehicle very quickly. And I suppose the question was, when I got up there and showed it at Frankfurt for the first time, I did say this is the new Defender, and it is the most capable Defender ever made. And that was a big statement. And our recent sort of press drives in Namibia have proven that. The press is saying it is incredibly capable, and it is the toughest. So it's the duality of those two things that are inextricably linked that I think will resonate with people. So unfortunately, this pandemic has come just at a time you couldn't wish for worse sort of timing in terms of launching a new vehicle. But you might argue it will create even more desirability for it. So I think you've always got to look at the positive out of the negative.
Point about what might happen now in the market. We don't really know that, and I understand that it's going to be an evolving situation for some months and some days ahead. But the consumer, there is this sense that people are likely to move back towards personal mobility away from shared mobility or hailing services and things like that. And then if that is true, they're also going to be a little bit more frugal with their money. Does compactness become something that takes your attention quite strongly now? I won't specify where and how, but just smaller vehicles?
I think one thing we have to bear in mind is that we don't. First of all, we don't produce ordinary vehicles. We don't produce commodities. I think in the commodity world, whether or not it's a car or anything else, I think there'll be some strong challenges there because people will be reluctant, will hold back. I think. In the world of luxury and premiumness, you're talking at a higher price point generally, and I think that the products and brands that will do best are the ones that supply those products and services that have an emotional connection with their consumers, that hit on that visceral level, because I think there'll always be a desire for those things, providing they're done in a way that are relevant and sustainable. In answer to your question, before this pandemic came about, we were looking anyway at how we wanted to move the brand forward in terms of the product offerings, and compact vehicles have always been one of those things that is an opportunity for us. So I don't think necessarily the pandemic will have speeded that up for us. And as you say, we don't know what's going to happen. There might be people out there that can't wait to get out and buy something. And in the world where a certain price point, people can take these crises. The impact on them personally and their personal wealth isn't as great. Clearly, we're going to have some difficult times. There's no doubt about that. And for me, design of the product and the desirability of the product becomes more important because people are naturally going to become far more selective about what they buy.
I think there was no debate on the fact that all the recent products that we've seen from you, in fact, by just recent, we go back several years now, they've all been extremely attractive. They've been commended and lauded for being attractive, and I think your customers and fans certainly have endorsed that too. But given what you just said, does it become more incumbent on you then that the next Range Rover or the next whatever that comes from you then, even from a marketing or from an engineering perspective, there is going to be a greater focus on being extremely attractive?
Well, I mean, we put, irrespective of the pandemic, one of the things I've tried to do over the last 10, 12 years or so at Land Rover is campaign for the relevance of design and the importance of design, together with engineering, to create products that are truly unique and desirable. And design is the conduit for that. Design leadership is something that is really important to our vehicles and to our brands. Other companies may say that, but it doesn't necessarily follow through. And we've set our organisationally up in a way that allows us to do that. And one of our greatest advocates of that has been Mr. Tata and Mr. Chandra as well, in terms of making sure we don't lose that focus on design and on desirability, because that's what differentiates us. And that hasn't, it will become more important to the consumer, I believe, but it was important to us anyway. And I think, you've said it in terms of what customers think of our vehicles generally in terms of the desirability. I think that is something that is being recognised in the marketplace. We do have a unique point of view. It is based around the philosophy of modernity and doing things that have a level of honesty and integrity. But ultimately, vehicles are beautifully proportioned, are refined, elegant, whatever it is within that strategy. And people are recognising it.
We get so caught up with the romance of the new Defender. The Evoque just came to market too, the new generation. It's also been received really well. It's got a lot of people talking about how much more capable it's gotten, and yet it kind of holds on to the essence of being an Evoque. I remember talking to you about this, but I want to quickly just get your reaction on how it's been received, what you've heard from people, and how you feel about that.
Well, again, I think that the reaction has been incredibly positive. And I think what people are recognising is that something that's quite important. The original Evoque was very successful, from I can remember the volumes for that were relatively low in terms of aspiration. We exceeded those massively. But more importantly, I think that car resonated with people because it stretched the brand, and it meant that Land Rover, Range Rover could mean something else, something that was more youthful, exciting, dramatic, etc. And it is a design that doesn't have equals, particularly when it first came out. There weren't really many cars like that around, and with that dramatic falling roof, rising belt line, that overall visual sort of robustness. Now, people have recognised that why change that formula? All the customers that love it, how do you actually take that and make it better? And that's what we've done with it. We've made it more sophisticated, more grown up, more precise. It is totally different in every aspect when you look at the detail of it. Every surface is different. It's got stealth technology in the lamps. It's got all these things that are natural evolutionary improvements in terms of its technology, etc. But when you look at it, you say, that's an Evoque.
The good thing about technology, of course, is that it allows us to connect and do some of this much more easily than in the past. But has it been challenging? I mean, you don't have clay models, you don't have just that daily interaction.
Well, clearly it's been challenging, but there have been some. It's been quite fortunate for us in a way, from a design perspective, because we are at a stage with a lot of our programs where we've gone through the stage of needing models, and we're going through the final phases of maturation. So a lot of that support work, where design is doing very much a policing role, that can be done reasonably well remotely. And then the other element is that with the new programs we're developing, we're relatively speaking in their infancy, a conceptual stage. So again, a lot of sketch work can be done, and a lot of things that don't have to be done producing models, but that time's going to run out quickly. We need to be getting back into the studios as quickly as we can, because we do need to start producing those models again soon, because in the design business, despite what some people think, you can't do it all virtually. You have to create physical models, particularly when you look at the relative investments that our business has to make in these things. That in order to make the right decisions, you need physical properties.
But how often do you get together?
I'll put my 40 years of experience on the line with anybody that wants to argue with me about that. Not you, clearly, Sid, but you always get people saying, "Oh, you can do it all remotely." Well, they've never designed a car before if they think that.
Not all of it, yeah. No, but how do you interact with the team? Is there like a daily call? How do you do?
We're having design reviews every other day. We've got Teams, so I can look at visuals on the screen. I usually use a big screen for that. I'm having meetings nearly every day with my design leaders, and of course my job isn't just about developing the direction of our designs. As a senior leader, I'm also having to look at the business and how we bring people back, who we need to bring back, and all those sorts of things, as well as the brand itself.
Besides, of course, getting back to the studio and your team, is there someone you're looking forward to meeting, maybe?
Yeah, there are a couple of people. One is actually my good friend, Mr. Tata, Ratan Tata, who I've been staying in touch with through this. Quite funny, when I talk to him, I say, "How are you finding it, Ratan?" And he said it's like being in prison. It's quite funny. I was planning to take a few days holiday in October and visit him in Mumbai. Hopefully I can still do that, but we'll have to wait and see. So I haven't seen him for quite a long time. He tends to come over to our studio every 3 months or so. So I do miss him. He's a lovely man. The other, and a great inspiration for us, and for me personally, always has been. And he's done a lot for our business. Without him, we wouldn't exist, no doubt about that. The other person I was looking forward to see, but it got cancelled, was the Queen.
Wow.
Because I don't know if you know, this year I was fortunate enough to be honoured with an OBE. I don't know if that means anything in India. It's Officer of the British Empire, which is a recognition of what you've done in your field. And she normally presents those, or another member of the royal family at Buckingham Palace, but clearly that got called off. But I have met her before, and I'm a big royalist. I'm a big fan of the royals. So hopefully that won't be too far away.
Well, for us, even Mr. Tata is like royalty. So yeah, so both in both cases.
Yeah, he is.
It's
he's big. If anything, whenever I see him at in India at the motor shows, he has more people following him than the Bollywood movie stars. I've witnessed that.
Yeah, you've seen the crowds. No, but I did introduce you as OBE at the start, but it was wrong of me not to congratulate you, because the last time I think this just happened, right? December, was it, or January?
It was in the New Year's honours list. So January,
So many congratulations. I think it's a great recognition, and a fitting one as well. So one last thing, and I know it's an unfair question because it's like asking to choose between your own children. But your favorite design that really sort of hits all the spots for you in the current lineup?
Well, to me, they're all family. I love all of them. But you know as well as I do that the newborn is the one that will always get the most attention for a while. So you know what that is. That's the Defender, and I can't wait to see more of them on the road. I can't wait to have one. I think it's going to be, people are going to love that vehicle, and the others as well. But I didn't want to come and sit down just with my t-shirt on, because it'd be obvious I've been in the gym, and two, I thought it might be a bit disrespectful, so I thought I'd put my jacket on.
I appreciate that, and you're always very dapper whenever we've had you on any conversation. But this one, I think, will always be a little bit special. It was nice of you to have taken the time to speak to us from home. I do hope we meet soon, which means that things are going to normalize for that to happen. And like I said, can't wait to drive the Defender.
Anyway, it's been very nice talking to you.
No, it was wonderful talking with you.
To all the people that watch this, stay safe.
No, thank you. We wish you the same. And in fact, once again, thanks for spending time with us. All the best to you and your team, and of course, the family too.
Okay. Thanks, Sid.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that then was Gerry McGovern, or Professor Gerry McGovern OBE, speaking with us from home and talking about all the priorities for Land Rover as a brand in the coming few days. And then, of course, that massive reception that it's received for the new Defender. Remember, that car has been announced for India, and it will be here hopefully soon. All of those timelines right now remain fluid, but I'm going to keep saying it. I can't wait to drive that car. It was wonderful talking with Gerry today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please do react to what you've seen. If you step out for the essentials, or if you are back at work in a limited capacity, please drive safe. Please wear your seatbelts. Definitely keep your masks on. And yes, stay safe. Take care of yourselves and your family. Bye-bye.